What up, guys? Welcome to episode 101 of Fresh Off the Mats. 101 Dalmatians.
I just was saying it.
You were saying that?
Just saying I was 101 Dalmatians.
That's funny.
That's funny.
101 of Fresh Off the Mats. It's pouring out there. The rain in Florida has been crazy, dude. That thing has that little pond has filled up and depleted like 3 times this week.
All this started last night. It was like 3 in the morning when it started raining, and I was like, oh, okay.
You know what this just reminded me of? This was a topic I wanted to bring up the other day, and I forgot. It was the last episode. Bro, these people that stand outside the abortion clinics and stand outside in the corner.
These motherfuckers over here?
Bro, these people who feel like they were given the word of God to go speak on God's behalf, to tell people how terrible they are. And have you seen their latest sign? Homosex is a sin. Yeah. And we're not even talking about abortions anymore. Now you're just straight up talking about hateful shit.
Yeah, it's just everything.
Bro, and here's my thing. You're so passionate about this, right? You guys are there all the time. If it fucking drizzles, they don't go out there. Bro,
I want to see some resolve.
I want to see you this passionate. You take a day off when it rains.
Day off. Have you seen them?
You take a day off when it rains.
People are all retired.
Yeah.
All these old-ass people. They don't work. They don't got nothing to do.
You're rah. You're a hill to die on. Your way you spend your evenings is doing this. The second is bad weather. I want to see you guys out there in the middle of a hurricane, bro. You need to protect those babies. You need to tell people that are gay how awful they are. I want to see you out there, 365, rain, shine, hurricane. Bro, that's some bullshit. You cherry picking like your stance, like they're pieces of shit, dude. I'm sorry. I don't like those people. They piss me off so much.
I don't understand why they go out there. I like is that like does that make a difference?
No.
Like does it?
No, I don't think there was one time where anybody walked by and was like, I changed my stance on
You know what I hated is like and I know why they do it because it's just like, yeah, this is the reality of it. But when they show like the fetuses.
Oh, the dead babies.
And I'm just like...
They find the one case from 10 years ago, the photo from 10 years ago.
I'm just trying to fucking go to work. Or I'm trying to... It's usually when I'm coming back from work, actually, because I come down from Daniels and I'm coming here. And I'm like, I'm just trying to go to jiu-jitsu. And now I got to see this dead baby on the side of the road.
I want to get halfway through a burrito. And as I pass it, be like, you ruined my fucking burrito. And throw it at whoever's holding that. Bro, it's just... That is so infuriating that like... You guys are so passionate. You guys have a megaphone. You're screaming at people. You're yelling at women walking into the Planned Parenthood that's over here.
We have a Planned Parenthood?
Yeah, when you turned at the tire shop. What was it, a Planned Parenthood or it's something over there?
I didn't know that. Is that why they're
on
here?
The way to Whole Foods.
Is that why they wait here?
Yeah.
I thought it was just because it was a busy intersection.
No, because the hospital's on the corner there. So they go on the corner there.
Spot.
And there's a Planned Parenthood. When you go down by the car shop, you go all the way down to, not the first stop sign, the next one.
Suncoast and all?
Yeah, on the way to Whole Foods if you go this way. And they're always there too.
Yeah,
and
they're always sitting back there. I was wondering why they were back there as well.
Yeah, it's behind the bushes. Yeah.
Oh, shit.
Yeah.
Now it makes much more sense why they're out here.
It just boggles my mind that you're so passionate about this, but the second things are not comfortable, there's a little bit of rain.
Bro,
no, we can't go out in the rain.
I would have a sprinkler.
God wants us to spread the word, but not if we're going to get sick in the rain.
We can't just set sprinklers off. We're technically always in like a drought season, right? Like there's days we can use our sprinklers.
I don't give a fuck. If it's my business, I'm sending the sprinklers off and accepting the tickets. They're going to learn after a little while.
Like get away from here.
Get away from here. Bro, it's just, I don't know, man. Let people do their thing, man. Of course, I don't believe if you're 8 months, 9 months pregnant, you should be allowed to get an abortion. I think there is a line. I get it. But
also people are...
You can't be harassing people on their decisions.
The thing with that whole thing too is no one... Obviously, there's the one-off chances. We've had plenty of conversations about using like the outliers for the argument.
Correct.
But these 8-9 month people, the majority of them, it's not because that they want to not be a parent anymore. They're doing it because now the doctor's like, hey, you're going to die.
Oh, no.
Like you know what I mean?
No. I'm sorry. I fully excuse people who are in a medical condition where if they have the baby, they'll die.
Yeah, like that's where it's just like, no, continue your life. There's no reason
but I'm talking about the because they always go to the defense if we keep pushing the line, at some point women who are 8 months pregnant are going to be allowed to get abortions.
No.
And it's like nobody's pushing for that.
No one.
I don't think there's a person on this earth who's like, oh, I'm 8 months, 9 months pregnant. I shouldn't say nobody.
Yeah,
because I'm sure there's a fucking wacko
there's
out
people
there.
out there who would, but it's just like that's not the majority, which
Yeah,
means
dude.
in our country, that person would not win that right.
Yeah.
Because they're not the majority.
I think there
majority
has
of
to be a
people-
definitive line. I think there has to be a
pretty sure-
line.
I'm pretty sure there is. I think it's like 3 or 4 months.
No, but I know there's an actual line right
Yeah.
now of when you're allowed to and when you're not allowed to. But I think we have to stick to whatever that line is and not play like hopscotch with it on
Yeah.
like, I can't.
Oh, let's
I think-
push it this way, push
Yeah.
it that way.
If the baby's going to be terminal, let's say it's born with like that disease where their bones break super easy. Like, yeah, there's a disease where they're born with the brittle bones.
Oh my God.
If it's a terminal disease that the baby has, fine, you could terminate after the line. If it's a you're gonna die as a mother, like it's gonna cause you to, then I think you should be
Have you
allowed
seen the
to.
one with the stillborn ones? You know that I think it's Texas.
What is stillborn actually?
They come out dead.
Oh,
dead.
they're born-
They're dead.
They were dead.
They were already
inside?
dead inside. But I think it was Texas that passed it. Even if they're stillborn, you have to come to term.
Wait a minute.
They won't let-
like
they-
if you find out at 7 months
They
that
won't.
it's
They
dead.
won't let you get rid of it.
Oh, see, that's fucked. That's the other extreme of it all. That's the other extreme. I think exceptions like that, like, dude, if they find out at 5 months that the baby is passed away, miscarriage, is it a miscarriage or is it
Miscarriage.
stillborn? Is that the same
No, that's
thing?
miscarriage. Stillborn is that they were. So it's technically a miscarriage. That's a miscarriage. Stillborn is when they're born, but they come out dead.
Okay. Well, if it's 5 months in and they find out, hey, there's no heartbeat, the baby has died, bro, let the person do what they got to do to get rid of it. I mean, you're not going to put somebody through 4 more months of trauma just to fucking deal with that.
People would.
That's insane.
That's the issue.
See,
And
that's
so-
the other extreme
and
of
that's
it all.
but that's where people argue. They're like, that's what the problem is like you're trying to say when I can draw my own line versus the other people. And it's like, well, it's just like with everything. Like, dude, people don't know how to have like an educated debate anymore.
No.
Everyone gets in their feels about it all. It's like they can't just sit down and be like, hey, can we actually talk? And no one knows how to properly argue. Which, you know what? Politicians used to be like the epitome of
A proper debate.
of proper debates.
Yes.
It used to be you would look up to politicians because they had to be
They
proper.
were excellent at debating.
They had proper public speaking.
Your turn,
Yup.
my turn,
and
back
it would go
and
back and
forth,
forth.
rebuttal.
And they may get aggressive with each other, but they also knew when like they had their moderators. They would be like, "Hey, settle down. Like you can't get like this anymore."
Yeah.
And now it's like, and I think that's also the issue of what's happening in our country is we are losing that outlet because one, social media blew up, so everyone now technically has
wants
a voice.
soundbite.
Well, everyone has that voice.
Yeah,
Everyone can go. I mean, look at us. We have a podcast.
Yeah.
We don't do anything special, but
No.
we have one. And so I think that's part of the problem is where everyone has it, and now it also blurred the line because our politicians jumped into this train of like celebrity status.
Yeah.
So now
It
because
became
of that,
pro wrestling.
yeah, and so
Yeah.
now it's just like we don't have as a country, or I mean any country really. You can look at a bunch of other countries too. A lot of them are just as bad, where there is no one to look at to be like, oh, that's how we should properly debate.
Yeah.
This is how we should speak. This is what we should go through. It's just like it sucks.
Because the problem is we as a people, we valued the soundbite more. We valued those chaotic moments way more. It became more entertaining. No, you know what it is? We put a dollar amount to the soundbite and we put a dollar amount to how many views a thing gets, how popular it becomes.
Mhm.
That's the problem. All this is a cause from that.
That's why I think everything
if
that
there was
politicians
no-
do, they shouldn't be able to make money. Like these whole like, oh, they have a public speaking event, they shouldn't get paid.
No.
Like you are now, if you are in that line of service as you signing up to be a public servant,
Yeah.
as our politicians to serve the people, you should no longer get paid for things like that. You should be doing it because that is your job to represent the public and to be with the people. That is your job. Like, I'm not saying to not get a salary. I'm saying
Yeah.
you should get a decent pay,
A decent pay.
but you're not.
You shouldn't become a millionaire off being a politician.
No, you
'Cause
should.
then you're
That's ridiculous.
incentivized.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You're incentivized.
Yeah.
That's easier to get.
If
put
you
into
make a
people's pockets.
$500,000 a year, I'm pretty sure you could live a comfortable life. Along with
You
a
can
half a
make
million dollars,
250 and live a
and
very
people,
comfortable
but
life.
people will be like, "Oh, $500,000 is not enough." I'm like, no. $500,000 salary, and you get all the perks of being
Well,
a
it's like
politician.
how a president
the
is.
car,
Yeah.
the Secret Service, all the
President
stuff that
gets
comes along with it.
250 a year. They're capped at 250, but they have everything else, which that is fine.
Yeah.
Let that be funded. That's whatever. Like I know people will still like it's taxpayer funded. Yes, the shit has to work that way.
Yeah, we
Get
have
over
to
it.
pay them something.
Yeah, we have to get them to be able to travel. And they'll be like, no, we don't. Well, then that's when we get the problem where they're all just rich people doing it, and that's
Or
why we have that.
they get swayed a certain way because some billionaire comes along and says,
Like,
"I'll
yeah,
give you $1 billion."
I'll fund everything.
Yeah,
Like
You don't want them to be incentivized by dollars.
we need to be able to eliminate
and that's the same thing with social media. I really think there would not be as many people on social, when we talk about how everybody has a voice, there would not be that many people on social media if there wasn't dollar amounts attached to it. If there wasn't a way to sponsor this t-shirt, sponsor this lotion, there would not be as many.
Look at like
because you would literally have to do it for the love of it. You would have to do a podcast because you enjoy having these conversations and talking to people. You would have to post on Instagram because you actually just love sharing moments with your friends. And the problem is that everybody is trying to be a social media darling to become the next blown up person, because it's not because they want to be famous for the sake of being famous. They want all the other shit. Mm-hmm. They want the sponsorships. They want to be recognized. They
want the better life.
I'm not saying it's wrong, but the problem is you now allow everybody to apply for a job that is really only meant for a select few.
Like
There's only a select few.
You have to. It's like radio hosts.
Yeah.
Like, they have a voice for it. Like, that's the thing. Like, what was it? You have the voice for radio, but not the face for acting. Like, it's little things like that used to matter. But now you can be like this fucking hideous looking thing, honestly, and then become famous off of it. And it's just like, the opportunity has grown for much more people, but because of that, the standard has dropped.
Yes.
And it's not that the opportunity has gone up because everyone has the access. It's no, the opportunity went up because we lowered the standard for people to get that opportunity.
Yeah.
And I think that's what the problem is.
I really feel like if you just do things in your life because you just love them and you actually enjoy them. Yeah. If you don't look at it as an end goal of, I'm going to make this jiu-jitsu page because I'm going to blow up in the jiu-jitsu world for making instructionals on Instagram, or I'm going to make this health page, because if you just do it because you love it, naturally people just gravitate that. So we sit here and we talk and we bullshit every week. We're not famous. We're not anything, but people gravitate to it. And I know this because over the course of 2 years, we've had people subscribe on YouTube and Instagram. It's not shooting up like this for YouTube and Spotify. Yeah. It's not shooting up like this. We're at this trajectory where we gain 10 people, we lose 1. We gain 12 more, we lose 5. And you were going up. And I'm okay with that because I don't look at our conversations every week as a way to become famous, and because we do jiu-jitsu.
How can we monetize this?
Yeah, we're gonna have a hot take and you should listen to us. Who gives a fuck? You always say your opinion. I always say mine. Sometimes we agree, sometimes we disagree, and that just is what it is. But when you go out and you're like, I'm gonna make a podcast with my friend because we're gonna get sponsored after a year and we're gonna be making so much money and stuff. Bro, that's why all these people do 1 or 2 podcasts, 3, 4 episodes, and it falls apart.
I mean, that gets applied to literally anything.
Everything.
Anything you
Fitness,
start.
Jiu-jitsu, bro, all this stuff. Magic. Dude, I've had my YouTube channel since I think it was 2021 is when I opened the channel. Yeah. And only within the last 2 years that it started to really stagnantly take off. And that's because I made adjustments from listening to people. Like, I think it was you that was like, you got to put your face on the camera when you open packs. Like, one guy was like, you should put sound effects when you pull a good card. Oh, you should add lettering or do this or do that or make them under a minute. Do them in 30 seconds, whatever. If you take all the notes and you just keep doing it every day, and I mean every day, and that's another thing. People say they do things daily, but they don't. They don't, and it shows. It shows. If you do it daily, people appreciate. Even if they missed you yesterday, they appreciate that they could go there today. There's something new, and if they want, they could go back yesterday and see that there was something new.
It's the same thing with the podcast I listen to. I don't listen to them every day, but I know that if I missed a month of a podcast, I listen to the Daily Stoic a lot. But if I missed a month,
is this weekly?
This is daily.
Oh, daily.
Something every day. Daily so it's just if I miss it, I know I have a month worth of stuff to listen to. I can bang out a bunch within a walk that I go take. If I go rucking or something like that, I'll be able to catch up. And I'm not the guy. So because there was another Stoic,
it's a reliability.
Because there was a Stoic podcast that I found. The guy was good. And this is the issue that people don't understand. It's not always just about your talent, because you're right. The consistency matters. There was another Stoic podcast I found. I liked the guy better. Truly, better than
the guest.
No, so he was he made his own podcast, and I found another Stoic podcast, just a different way of looking at it.
Okay.
And so when I listened to him, I liked his delivery, his voice better. It just was better to me as a podcast. but he was not consistent. He would go 2-3 weeks without posting. He'd say, oh, I had this problem come up. This is it. This is what's happening here. And then he'd come back, and then all of a sudden he would be back again. He'd be very consistent. And then it was back off again. It was like, so I stopped listening. I unsubscribed because I was like, bro, I can't.
It's not daily.
Yeah, it's not.
And not even daily. We
because
do ours
like
weekly,
he was doing two times a week, and it was just post twice a week. But which I'm not saying that's easy, but it's also like, bro, you said that you would post twice a week.
Yeah.
And now you're not.
You gotta stick to what you commit to. That's why I told you when we started this, let's just do once a week. And I think in the beginning, didn't we we talked about before we even started, we're like, maybe we do it once a month.
Yeah.
And then we were like, once a month is too long
too long to be able to
time
wait.
period.
Yeah.
And then I think at one point we were thinking about doing every 2 weeks, right?
It was because we were doing the longer episodes.
They were like an hour and a half.
Yeah. And so we were like, well, we could do that every 2 weeks.
Or we could just do 25, 30-minute episodes every week.
Yeah.
Yeah, which I think is better. And I feel like if you just stick to your consistency no matter what, dude, in the past 2 years, we've had people pass away. We've had funerals to go to. We've had times where we were both sick. We had times where one was on vacation. We've had times when we're competing out of town, and we still find a way. Guys, every Friday, you're going to get a new episode. It doesn't matter what's going on in our lives.
Even the hurricane.
Even the hurricane. we were like, we knew a hurricane was coming. We're like, we got to bang out 2 episodes because we don't know the next time we
post it out. We don't know when we'll have internet or nothing, but we're going to get this shit out.
And you do this, and people appreciate that because they know that it's a trust.
It's reliable.
It's trust.
Yeah.
It's trust. It boils down to we could trust these guys every Friday at 12:30 in the afternoon. A new episode goes up. Every week, we're going to get a short that's going to preview the coming episode and a short after that episode of what recapped in the episode. We're going to always get that. And I think that's something we could do because there's only 2 of us. We don't have production crew or anything like that. It's something that's manageable and we could do that kind of stuff. But I think people overcommit where they see somebody like Joe Rogan who could do a podcast every day for 3 hours. And they're like, I'm going to start a podcast where it's a daily podcast. And it's like, you're going to burn out. You're not Joe Rogan. He is the red belt, top of the notch, cream of the crop. There's very few that could do it like that guy.
There's a reason why he gets paid what he gets paid.
Yeah, when you listen to his podcast, you don't hear a lot of filler shit because he's done it over time.
Yeah, it's the speaking. He's gotten very used to speaking. Like,
go back to our first 10 episodes. Even to this day, I still do. You know why? Because I notice when I cut the shorts and I make edits, I notice I could cut a second here. I could cut a second here. It's like trim it down. This is a practice thing, and this helps you develop the skill over time.
Which is
Obama doesn't become the speaker he is because out of the blue.
Yeah, the dude is that's a guy. So I've taken public speaking, I think 3 times now. 3 times. I took it once at FSW, and then I took it again. I don't know why. I've taken it 3 times for some reason. Either way, but I
took it in high school and college.
So
I've taken it twice.
No, I took it only in college, but I don't know why I've taken it multiple times because every time I passed, I know that, and I've looked at my transcript, so I know I passed the class. I guess I just always went back to it. But public speaking is a phenomenal tool to have, and that's where I think people need to understand. Again, what the situation we're currently in, in the world, people just don't know how to speak anymore.
No,
they really don't know how to get their words out. They don't know how to pause. No. They don't know how to just be like, hold up, let me get this thought out. Let me think about this real quick. Let me sit in this.
They don't listen to when the person's talking. The thing that's running through their head while the other person's talking is, what am I going to say next? What am I going to say next? And it's like, dude, you got to allow time to have this frequency. When you're friends, it's easier because you could say something, I could digest it fast because I know you as a person.
Yeah, you know what.
When you're debating somebody you don't know, you're going to trample over them if you're always in this reaction mode of, I know he's talking right now, but I'm not even paying attention to what he's talking to. I'm just thinking about what I'm going to say next.
Which is what we see now in our politics where it's like they
trample.
But their arguments have nothing to do with anything. They're debating but not debating because it's just, well, here are my points. Well, these are my points. Well, these are my points. And there is no back and forth between, hey, this is why that idea shouldn't work. This is why the people need to worry about this. It's, well, these are my ideas.
Well, it's because they don't go A, B, C, D, E, F. They go A, X, B.
Again, because it's
plus sign.
It's my idea, your idea, and then they just go back. It should be AA. Hey, we're economics right now, tax policy. You tell yours? Okay, good. You got 5 minutes. All right, hey, your turn. 5 minutes. You shut the hell up. 5 minutes. Go.
Which I think
that's how it should be.
I think even that sucks because I think 5 minutes sucks because
No, I'm not saying like
no,
actual five, but
I know, but that's what they do at debates. There's a time limit on what
they
they
do?
could. Yeah, there's it's all like president. You have the next 5 minutes. Or 4 minutes.
They'll give you like 3 minutes to speak. It's like the
I
House and all
don't
that.
think when you debating these in-depth issues, like we were just talking about abortion, these things that are so intertwined and have so many mixed parts. How can you get over all the topics in 5 minutes?
Well, that's the point. It's not supposed to be over engulfing. It's
Yeah.
supposed to be you hit your bullet points, you hit your stance, you hit what you're going to do to try to change things, and then that's it.
You know what I
It's
thought
not
was
supposed
awesome?
to be. Let me go into the intricate details of all the policies, how I'm going to do it, because that's
Yeah,
not
but-
what that's supposed to be for.
But you know what ends up happening is I go over the bullet points, right?
Mhm.
But then your opponent calls you out on a detail in one of the bullet points. You know what I mean? Like you don't get a chance to digest and go through everything.
So, well, that's supposed to be you go on their sites. Like you can
No.
go look it up.
I know, but what I thought was a cool idea was at the last election, I believe it was 2020, Rogan, people were talking, why doesn't Rogan have both politicians on a 4-hour long podcast? And he's a great moderator
He
of
is.
letting people talk
He
and have
is.
their time. And he's a great, what he's also good at is, hey, he said this, I'll let you finish your thought, but he notes down, like, we're going to circle back to that
Yeah.
thing you just said to make sure
But
everything.
he is listening to his people.
It never came to fruition, and I don't understand why, because I feel like if there was a 4 or 5 hour long podcast between two presidential candidates, I feel like you would get so much more out of this than a 1 hour, 2 hour thing on TV where they just have to hit their bullet points and go to the next thing. Hit their bullet points, go to the next thing. Zinger here, zinger there. Give them long form, no crowds, no audience
There's
where
no
there's
like
clapping.
performance and all. Yeah.
No, you're talking 3 people in a room and the technician 4,
Yeah.
and that's it.
I mean,
That's
it's the same
all
thing.
you
I
need.
mean, Kennedy just did that. Robert F. Kennedy.
Yeah.
He went and visited Rogan to go discuss it.
Yeah.
And then, so this is where I think the issue is. What I like it is because it would work, right? And it showed you got to hear Robert Kennedy speak. You got to listen to his ideas, his stance. We got the details.
Mm-hmm.
But then people shit on Rogan because they think that means he's voting for him. He's like, that's not at all what this means.
He had
here.
Bernie Sanders on the
he's like,
podcast. He's had
here
AOC
to
on the
sp-
podcast.
yeah.
He's had so many
It's-
people on his
they're
podcast
there
from different
to
walks.
listen.
He's
but
had
people are dumb.
debates. Oh my God, who are the 2 people he had? Oh
The doctors
no, he's had doctors debate on there
The two
before.
doctors debate.
He had the guys debate over the Younger Dryas impact theory, where they say that civilization is not 2,000 years old. Civilization is millions and millions of years old. And they think that back in the day, humans were way more advanced than we give them credit for. And that something catastrophe
Yeah,
happened and set us
catastrophic.
back to Stone Age, where we had millions of people on Earth, but it set us back to like 10,000. And that's how we lost technologies and things that we had back then. So he had both sides on. He had an archaeologist who was debating that the standard of what you learn in school, no, we were never as advanced as we are right now.
Yeah.
And then he had the person on who believes we were advanced back then. We just lost it due to a catastrophic event that happens every so often. He had them on. This guy would take 10 minutes to give his point. Then this guy got 10 minutes. Then this guy got 20 minutes. Then this guy got 15 minutes. Then this guy got 20 minutes. And they had such a good conversation. And as a listener, it was so nice and easy to digest because there was no fluff. It was just the guy,
Yeah.
Rogan, the technician, and that's it.
Listen, that's what I was meaning, though. That's how a debate should be. It's you give your time, give us your points, give us your topic, give us the talking point, and then when you develop it, now, okay, cool, you gave us your intro. It's like how all speeches. I mean,
Yeah.
like you said, we
But
take
we don't
public
do that
speaking.
anymore.
No, we don't. We just set them up there. We're just like, how about it?
Yeah.
And it's just like,
Here's a crowd of people who are going to interrupt because screaming things.
yeah.
They're going to clap in between. No.
Again,
We're here for you two. You guys are the reason we're here. That's the only
we
people
need
that should be
to
there.
get rid of the celebrity status
Yeah.
of politicians. There's the I hate it when I see all these people like they're diehard
One
Trump
way.
fans. They're diehard Kamala. They're diehard Bernie. It's like
Name
no,
it.
they are politicians.
Yeah.
They are here for the people only.
Also-
you should not be celebrating them. They should be under our heel. That is how a politician should be. And we keep doing this to them. And then everyone questions why they just do whatever they want.
What's the thing where they take the population of everybody?
Popular vote. Oh, no, the census.
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 They call people up to get a census count of how many people there are on average, right?
Yeah.
Why during that census can't they say, did you want Trump to be the Republican candidate? Did you want Kamala to be a Democratic candidate? Because I don't believe if you asked every American, would you boil it down to this person and this person, people would say yes. I do not believe
that's why
if you ask the everyday person, hey, out of 330 million people, would you have boiled it down to these two to represent each side? I don't believe it.
So
This is nonsense.
But this is also not an issue. It's an issue, but I don't think that we can really fix it. People don't understand the way our politics system works, right? Like, one, people don't understand how the popular vote works.
No.
They think that, like the whole Hillary Clinton thing, they were like, because she won popular. Your popular vote, I'm not saying it doesn't matter, but it legitimately doesn't matter.
Yeah.
It's not there. What our votes do, and this is why it sucks that people only vote for the president and why our election system has turned into where we only focus on the president, because that's not what the important vote is. Because what you need to do is vote in your local governors, in your local Senate. When you do that, you get those people. That is now your representative for your state, your cities, your counties. Mm-hmm. Those people then go up and you get the House of Representatives, you get like the Senate.
It all goes like this.
And with those people, they're the ones that will elect who represents the party. Yeah. We don't get that say. And this is why, like Trump, he's in front of the Republican Party because the House and the Senate, or the House Republicans put him up.
I could be wrong with this. I understand what you're saying. Yeah. I could be wrong with this next statement, but couldn't we trim the fat? Couldn't we streamline it? We have technology. We have internet. So, couldn't we streamline it in a way where they give the Republican, they put a thing online that you have to scan your ID, you have to be of legal age, all that stuff. And they give us 10 people to choose from, and we choose as individuals. No, but cut out these middlemen of like, you got to go to your local election and vote this guy. Well, and vote. Couldn't for presidency, just for presidency, couldn't we streamline it?
I would say that would be the problem because we're currently doing that. That's what's basically happening right now where we're streamlining that process. Because you got to think about it. Right now, people aren't properly, not that they're not properly voting.
I'm not going to go vote in this local bullshit, and I understand that's a problem.
But that's what I mean. So that's what's causing the streamline of the presidency.
Because you know what I think it does to the normal everyday person? It puts too many steps in between. I got to vote for this guy, and then I have to vote for this, and then I have to do it. Becomes, bro.
But the side of that is because that's what gives us our checks and balance. Because now, as the people, you can say, I put this person in office. This is why
I know I'm wrong on this. I'm just playing devil's advocate, but I know that I'm wrong in my thinking. But I really feel like, bro, it's 2024. There's not a way to streamline for presidency. I'm not talking about governors and all these things. Whatever. Have the old people go vote for you every whatever it is. But for presidency, couldn't we streamline it where we narrowed it down to like even the top 100? People are like, that's too many. There's 330 million people. We can't bring together our brightest 100 and decide a president from our brightest and our best 100.
But that's where, I mean, technically we do. We vote them in. And so that's what I'm saying. That's what we are doing.
I'm just saying the way is archaic, the way we go about voting them in. And I think it puts too many things in between before getting there.
What we're not accounting for is, I think we need to make a better adjustment of the big city population areas. Mm-hmm. So like obviously California, right? LA is dominant. San Diego is dominant. New York City is dominant over all of New York State. Even in Florida, we're a swing state and people don't understand, which I comment that to someone in Florida where it was like a Fort Myers group page and they were saying something about politics coming up and they were like, Florida bleeds red. I was like, we're literally a swing state. That was my comment back to them. We're like, we are literally one of the most famous swing states because of, I think it was 6 different elections. We've gone both blue and red. We are not a red state. And people who think so,
what is the downside? Yourself. What is the downside if we just, because I think like the system is good right now. I don't think it's optimal.
It's not optimal.
So what if we just did away with this and just every vote literally just counted 1 for 1? What do you think happens then if we just did it that way?
That's where the issue, that's why we have what we have now, because we need to avoid it, because then Miami, Tampa, and Orlando would control Florida. 3 cities would control the whole state.
No. I'm talking about for presidency. I'm not talking about states and all.
I know, but that's what I'm saying.
Get rid of like the points of like New York and California are valued more and shit.
Are you saying just like Florida?
Literally, your vote.
You have to get. You got to get 26 out of 50, basically. You're saying.
What do you mean?
You got to get 26 out of 50 states.
Yes.
Okay. I mean, that's what we do. That's the whole.
No. Not 26 out of 50. I'm talking about forget about states. Just 330.
You're saying only the
million.
popular vote should matter.
What if we just did that?
I think that would.
What are the problems? Again, I'm not saying we should do it. I'm just saying if we're going to vote for who we want, red or blue, why not when Joseph Gaudioso votes this way or this way, it just upticks one here or one here?
That's where I think the uneducated problem comes into play.
We still have uneducated motherfuckers voting. But you know what I think? I think there should be a test before you vote. I think when you go to vote as an individual, there should be a 10-minute test beforehand, and it should quiz you on, do you know all the political views of this candidate, and do you know all the political views? If you don't understand both sides, you shouldn't be allowed to vote, because I really believe it. Huh?
It gives you a pamphlet for all the
people don't read that shit. I'm talking about a test.
I wish people did.
No, a test you have to pass. Why should I be allowed to go vote
if I don't know who?
If I don't know his views,
well, yeah, the amount of people that literally walk in and they'll be like, "I vote red."
Yeah, I always vote red, so I just vote red.
Yeah, they don't read shit. They're just, I vote red. It's like,
so why should there not be a test that every American should have to take starting in the summertime, leading up to? If you want to be eligible to vote, you have to study up on all this, and you have to study up on all this. That way, I know when you step into that booth, you're making an educated decision because I know everything on this side. I know everything on this side. I understand both points, and now you're an actual expert on what you're talking about. Not even an expert, but you have
an educated bias. Now you can say that you have an educated, you can make an educated
because I don't follow on politics. I don't listen to the news every day. I don't follow all this stuff. So for me, because people always say, Joe, you don't vote. You're a bad citizen because I've never voted a day in my life. Here's the thing. I don't have the time to read up on everybody's stance. I don't have the time to sit and watch the news and stuff. So for me to go vote based on color and things I've heard buzzwords, I feel like it's not appropriate. It's irresponsible to do that. So I leave myself out because why should I make the decision for all you guys when I didn't educate myself on it? I feel like I'm being more responsible.
But that's also where we're kind of getting led to in the country currently, because I believe last election was our highest of non-voters. And it was at like, what was it, 30-something%?
But if that 30% didn't do their homework, they shouldn't be allowed to vote.
They shouldn't. But that's where the other argument is now if you take that's almost 150 million people.
Yeah,
so now should not. That means only around close to 100. So let's say 180 million voted for the country.
Yeah,
which means
I agree.
So, but here's the thing. Here's also where the downside happened. Now that means out of the 180 million, the big populated cities have now more control over the smaller ones.
Yeah.
Which means that they got to get who they want in.
Listen,
due to people not going in.
You want to make a change, you got to do the homework. It's just like going to school. You got to do the homework. If you want to vote, you got to do the homework for it. What is it to take a few weeks in the summertime for a big monumental change over the next 4 years? Do you get what I'm saying?
Say that again.
What is it? You need to do the homework in order to make such a big decision that impacts the country for the next 4 years. So what is taking a week or two in the summertime leading up to take a quiz to know that this guy is educated enough to vote? Because if you're not educated enough, that should not be allowed.
If you're saying currently right now you don't have time to vote, do you have the 1 to 2 weeks to study up on the candidate?
I won't do it, and I shouldn't be allowed to vote.
You're saying because if you didn't make the time to do so, then you shouldn't be able to vote.
If you want everybody to vote, then you got to mandate as a country, hey, everyone in the United States has to do it. And you're not going to mandate this. No. So you make it optional. If you want the privilege to vote as a citizen, you need to do the homework so you could pass the test before you go to vote.
It's just the same thing like when people talk about our rights. People don't understand. Like I saw one where someone, have you seen the recent thing? And this is kind of going off topic, also a little over time, but real fast. The recent thing in Texas, the I think it was a basketball team. They kneeled during the anthem. So it was the female team.
Oh, they all did.
So it was like 4 or 5 of them kneeled during the anthem. So Texas removed their scholarships. The school got rid of the scholarships. And people were like, what happened to freedom of speech? I hate when people bring this up. One, freedom of speech, again, is only for the government. That means the government cannot mandate or dictate what you can and cannot say. That's all. It is not about the public person. It's not about private entities. It's not about what you and I can say to each other.
Yeah.
It is a cop cannot come up to me and tell me I cannot say these things. Yeah. The military cannot force me. The politicians, no one in a government entity can tell me what I can or cannot say. But a private entity like a school has every right to be like, you don't get your scholarship anymore because we have our values. You went against them. No more scholarship. Yeah. People are like, it should have nothing to do with that. No. You just said the right to freedom of speech.
You can't tell a teacher to go fuck themselves.
They are also invoking their right of freedom of speech, which is saying, I don't want to give you these things.
Yeah. It's a privilege.
It's all, and people don't like, people hear the freedom part, which is, I love that we have it, but people don't understand that, one, your freedoms have consequences. I have freedom of speech, but if I go up to you and say, hey, you're a bitch, and you punch me in the face, that's a consequence of me calling you a bitch. I have freedom of speech. I have the right to say it, but you also have the right to react and how you want to please. Now, obviously, there's laws and things like how to properly react and shit, but that's the thing, and people just don't get those little details, and then they want the benefit, but they don't want the consequences.
No,
like that's
nobody wants to suffer the consequences of their actions.
Stupid.
Guys, we'll see you guys next week for episode 102. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe, and leave a bunch of nasty comments.
Nasty comments.